It was the original interactive candy, little treat-filled dispensers that became an American icon. Join us as the collector guys dive headfirst into the world of PEZ. Collector Guys. We're in the visitor center of the PEZ factory in Orange, Connecticut. Here you can find over 4,000 square feet of everything PEZ. Rare historical artifacts, early pre-character dispensers, plus everything else imaginable, including this custom PEZ motorcycle from Orange County Choppers. So I'm thinking, the company must have pulled all of this from their extensive archives. That is where I was wrong. Really wrong. Where did this collection come from?
It's actually my personal collection. Yeah, this is something that I've accumulated and built over the last 30 plus years.
Yep, you heard him right. All of this is Shawn's. He's not only turned his personal collection into a museum, but also into a job. How did this happen?
I started back in 2006 proposing the idea of what we're standing in, kind of a museum, visitor center, retail type operation, and I knew they didn't have the archive from a company standpoint, so that was kind of the hook that, you know, it's different idea, different business direction for them to go in, and if they liked the idea, the collection that I had could come with me and serve as the foundation of what we have here in the visitor center.
The visitor center is attached to the PEZ factory. Here they produce all the candy tablets for the US and Canada, which is about 12 million individual pieces a day. They also do all the packaging and distribution here. And with this glass wall, you can peek in and watch the very friendly employees go about their work. So let's go back to the beginning. How did PEZ get started, and what does the name stand for?
PEZ, the brand started in 1927, which kind of really surprises people, and it started as an alternative to smoking. Mr. Haas, the man that created PEZ, came up with the idea as an alternative to smoking and way to freshen your breath. And the first and only flavor at that time was peppermint. So that's what helped inspire the brand name PEZ. He used the German word for peppermint, which is Pfefferminz, and he used the first, middle, and last letter of that word, which was PEZ, and came up with an easily pronounceable name, which was PEZ, and it was a trademarkable brand name, so it kind of really served two purposes. Well, the first dispenser didn't get invented till the late 1940s, and it looks very similar to what you're used to seeing today. It was just a little stem or dispenser base that held 12 candy tablets, just like we have today, but instead of the traditional cartoon character head on top, it just had like a little thumb grip that you would raise, and it would still dispense one tablet at a time, and that's when they were marketed to adults. So that was 1948, 49. And prior to that, it was in a little pocket-sized metal tin, kind of like Altoids, or you got the candy in a foil and paper wrapper, just like you're used to seeing today.
The evolution from breath mint to fun candy went through a few different configurations. Full-body dispensers, PEZ guns, eventually ending with the character head on top.
First character on top for a traditional dispenser was the witch for Halloween. That was late 1950s. And then the first licensed character was Popeye, followed shortly thereafter in 1961 by Mickey Mouse. And we've been with Disney as a licensed partner since 1961, so quite some time.
Now, do you remember your first PEZ? Mine was Bullwinkle, and there he is, right there. So with all of these dispensers featuring iconic characters, which one is the company's all-time bestseller?
Santa Claus. Yeah, everybody's probably had some kind of Christmas dispenser in their stocking. It's easy, you know, it's a stocking stuffer, and Santa Claus year after year, #1 seller.
And with all of this success, has there ever been one that they wish they had back?
Thankfully, it doesn't happen very often, but it happens. You know, talking about Disney, we did a Mary Poppins dispenser back probably in the 1970s, and the likeness wasn't very good for Mary Poppins. You're trying to depict, you know, a character, but it was essentially a real person, and it wasn't an attractive dispenser, and Disney was kind of like, yeah, we're not really okay with the likeness of that. So don't you stop production or slow production down, and we're not going to keep doing that one. And, you know, as a consequence of that, it's actually quite rare. So from a collector perspective, you know, like, you got a Mary Poppins? That's a good dispenser, you know, but from a business standpoint, it didn't really do so well.
All right, time for a collector's class. What distinguishes a vintage PEZ from a modern day PEZ? In the 1980s, the stems were redesigned to have feet at the base, thus creating an easy distinction between vintage and modern. What fast food chain ran an exclusive in-restaurant PEZ promotion in 1999? Jack in the Box. Spend $1.99 and you could purchase one of 5 Jack dispensers. And one you'll never guess. Who were the first real people to be featured on the top of a PEZ? It was the crew from Orange County Choppers, Paul Sr., Paul Jr., and Mikey. Remember that motorcycle I mentioned earlier? Well, let's let Shawn tell us all about that.
They built that for us in 2006. They coincidentally got to be the first real humans on a PEZ dispenser. Up to that point, we'd never done real living people. So they became a trivia question at that point. So you can find that set. And it was a really good thing for us at the time. That it was such a unique thing. It kind of brought in a little older demographic as far as our core customer was. You know, the kids that kind of aged out of PEZ or thought they were too cool for PEZ. You know, they're getting into some different stuff, and the kids that are watching the motorcycle shows and things like that on TV thought it was great.
Even with thousands of square feet of all things PEZ, Shawn admits that there's still more. Do you have things at home that aren't here?
Oh yeah. Yeah, there's stuff at home. I think much of my wife's disappointment, there's still stuff at home. I still have some stuff on display there. Not much, not like I used to, but we got a little building that's got stuff. I got things stored away here too in the back that are not on display and in the office.
Like other collectors I've talked to, as Shawn shows me his massive collection, I wonder which ones are his very favorite. What's your top 5 favorites?
5 display cases, 5 shelves. That's tough. I mean, you know, if I'm opening cases, we're going to grab the whole thing here, you know, whatever we can get in there. But, you know, the ones that we're standing real close to, the Crazy Fruit series, you know, there's a couple in there that are really hard to find, really rare. I like my soft head monsters, which is a kind of a rubber-headed version of, you know, the dispenser, which is something a little bit different. And I like them because I think there's like 81 different ones in the case over there. You know, they were all hand-painted, and there's little subtle variations to them. So, you know, if we're going to open up that case, let's just grab them all while we're in there. But yeah, there's some ones, you know, just, you know, they didn't always value. It's the story of how you got it or where you got it, or maybe somebody gave it to you or something like that. That would be, and it'd probably give me pause if I had to narrow it down to 5.
If you want to start collecting PEZ, here is Shawn's advice.
You know, your collection should make you happy. This isn't about value. It isn't about, you know, creating a college fund. Do it for something you enjoy, and you'll get far more out of it than any financial reward out of it. And, you know, it's almost overwhelming when you look at the scope of things. You know, I'm lucky because I've been doing this for 30 plus years and have the perspective of coming into this right as the hobby was essentially being born. Nobody really got together, collected this. There weren't conventions. There really wasn't even a book out at the time when I started this. And, you know, I've had the privilege of watching all of this happen in those 30 years, and it was very different at that time because there was no information. Now it's like everything you know is out there. It's just, you know, if it's a new product, here's the UPC, here's the stores that have it, and, you know, all that kind of stuff. You know where you're going. It used to be just spend a day on a Saturday running store to store to store and flipping through the dispensers to see what you could find. But whatever it is, just do it because you like it. You know, it should put a smile on your face and make you happy. And that's your collection, because, you know, nobody's ever going to have it all. It's not a contest. Nobody's going to win at the end of this. There's no prize for the most, but, you know, do it because you enjoy it. And the people that you're going to meet while you're doing your collection and assembling it is probably going to end up being as much fun as the collection itself.
To learn about everything PEZ, Shawn has authored this great book, PEZ, From Austrian Invention to American Icon. This book was a huge resource in producing this video. You can order it online. And if you're ever on the East Coast and you love PEZ, check out the Visitor Center of the PEZ factory in Orange, Connecticut, not far from New Haven, right off I-95. But before we go, I have to share Shawn's business card. Check this out. It's in the shape of a PEZ candy. The collection that became a museum and a job, surrounded every day by the things that he loves to collect. Thanks for watching, Collector Guys. Hit that subscribe button to see more great videos, and always remember, surround yourself with what you love.